At one point or another, we probably believed that we were the narcissist one and everything, and that certainly appeared to be the case in the love bombing stage of the relationship. And it reappears when a narcissist is hoovering us back into the clutches in order to keep us in this narcissistic cycle, in this dynamic. We may not have realized until much, much later that it's that we were necessary to a narcissist, not a flesh and blood human being with a soul and with emotions and feelings. Rather, we were an object to grant them their addiction, their feed of energy and sacrifice, resources, sex, money, any attention that allows them to self-medicate themselves away from their inner screaming wounds of defectiveness and insecure feelings of insignificance. A narcissist is never, ever in love with you. They are incapable of that. They are only in love with the feelings of relief that you are granting them from that void, that inner child, that inner wound. It is no different to a drug addict being in love with drugs, and you are a necessary commodity, and therefore, whenever you inevitably proved that you are no longer useful for the self-medication with the narcissistic supply, they immediately discard you and replace you with somebody who can fulfill that task. Most of the time, that replacement has been being groomed way back before you would have ever expected, behind your back for quite some time. And they are probably already enlisted in the narcissist's life in some way or another. And say in relation to family of origin narcissistic relationships, as well as those with, say, toxic neighbors, business partners, or friendships of any other capacity. The narcissist's involvement with you is all about what they get out of you, that narcissistic supply, and the narcissist seeks to make you responsible for tending to and dancing around their inner wounds by using you to their advantage and scapegoating you as the person to blame for why they have so much disgraceful, regular, all-consuming negative emotions when their inner traumas are not being offset adequately enough with narcissistic supply. It always comes down to supply. We are nothing more and nothing less. This is heartbreaking whenever we understand that a parent, a sibling, or somebody of a significant relationship to us in our life they are supposed to have these resources to be safe and loving and empathetic and caring. And the sad truth is a person who suffers from NPD, regardless of who this person is in your life, they simply cannot help being a narcissist. So when a narcissist discards you, they definitely do not end pleasantly and not processed humanely. The methods of their discard are brutal. You will probably be accused of everything in the book, possibly even of being a narcissist yourself. The narcissist will assert that they were honest and loving and credible, and that you threw their love away and acted with a lack of integrity and care for them. And there will be zero responsibility taken for their behaviors, their cheating, their lies, their words, regardless of what you discover about what they have truly been up to. And once you are no longer adequately serving that false self, you will be completely delisted, meaning that you will be smeared and discredited to anybody who will listen. You will be dismayed to discover that there is no empathy within these people. There is no compassion for your life now. In fact, the narcissist can make you pay dearly for not serving that false self adequately by pillaging and raping everything from that which they believe that they are entitled to from you. And it's like a vulture ravaging on a dying animal. This further vindicates that nasty, insatiable ego, and enough will never, ever, ever be enough. And this is if you allow it. And this is shocking because you regard humans as human beings, not objects, and you would say you care about their heart rather than objectifying or sexualizing this person and using them for ego feeds and their different agendas. It is unthinkable for you to grasp how the narcissist operates. We have to wake up, and we have to wake up to the fact that the relationship was never, ever once about me or about you or any victim of narcissistic abuse. It was about being with a severely, severely damaged individuals whose thoughts and actions were always about them without consciousness and without remorse. We may think of it sometimes as the narcissist leaving our lives and never wanting anything to do with us once again, but this is really narcissistic delisting is something that we experience over and over with a narcissist, even when we are still, quote unquote, in the relationship with them. We are discarded every time. We are dismissed, we are deemed irrelevant or dehumanized, which of course is part and parcel of narcissistic abuse, as narcissistic abuse tears up the very fabric of our soul and our humanness, and the place of feeling whole and valued and safe is no longer there. The narcissist must discard you. Why? To preserve that false self or that false ego. The narcissist, they must reject and deny your true self, because deep within, your true self knows that it deserves honesty, it deserves team effort, empathy, and real love. The trauma that is screaming inside of you is because you are not living aligned with your true self. And this emotional pain is a signal to tell you how far off track this relationship truly is. And if your needs and your feelings and your opinions are not valued, they were never valued by the narcissist. This would mean that you would no longer be dancing around the narcissist wounds, pandering and catering to them. And this is why the narcissist will not listen to your grievances, or take responsibility for their behavior. And they don't want to work towards solutions of harmony with you in this relationship. They want to keep feeding that egoic significance, and they want to stay asleep. And each and every every time they hook you and you respond with any kind of energy, whether it's negative or positive towards them, they achieve this. They get this hit of narcissistic supply. You waking up and then pulling away, or starting to assert your own needs, boundaries, and rights, and no longer marching to their drum or arguing with them or justifying yourself whilst trying to get the narcissist to change. It stops feeding the narcissist, and then they must discard you and move on to that fertile narcissistic supply. This also happens when you became so sick, so needy, so emptied out that there was absolutely nothing left for them to gain from you. And hopefully you can move yourself into this first category and heal from this, so that you truly embody that to be discarded by a no person, which is not about being betrayed and ditched by someone who was capable of love. Rather, it was a blessing, releasing you into a true life of loving yourself, now being free to generate true love on your own. Being discarded it's a horrible, never-ending, disastrous eventuality for narcissists in every relationship that they will be in. It will end up with discarded, discredited, and delisted. This person will be delisted by the narcissist. And the real reason for this is because the narcissist, they discarded themselves a long time ago. The narcissist attempted to kill off their own true selves a long time ago, and then it replaced it with a fictitious character. And when the deeply damaged and wounded and abandoned true self of the narcissist arises, the narcissist lines someone else up to project their pain onto and try to destroy them, which unconsciously is all about trying to destroy the narcissist's truer inner shameful self and the vulnerable parts that they have no desire to meet and heal and resurrect in order to become whole. As the narcissist, they don't relate to him or her with empathy, kindness, love, vulnerability, or self-honesty, self-soothing. Instead, the narcissist's relationship with themselves is delusional. It operates in a very egoic, pathologically disordered way, designed to prop up the false self and grant this fragile, insecure identity the feed of significance. The narcissist, they have no resources that they can relate to you as a valued human with a soul, because people cannot grant who they are not to and while they're not being themselves. And when we realize this deeper truth, we can stop trying to hold that narcissist responsible for caring about us and valuing us, which then leads to our liberation. So how can we take back our healing and what we need to take back? Many of us discovered that we were not important to this person in the ways that we wished, or that we thought that we had been valued by that person which we loved. And where we can go so wrong in this situation is to try to force the narcissist to have empathy and care and compassion and real love for us. And I hope that you understand now why this would never work, because our healing and our salvation, our emancipation from the terrible drama of the narcissist discard only comes by turning inwards and with that very keen self-inquiry, and then committing to the inner work that it takes to heal. So have you discarded your inner being? Have you discarded your soul, your truth, by remaining attached to someone, trying to force them to care for and value you? And are you struggling to be on your own because of a source of love, acceptance, and support that is not yourself? Are the traumas in your life making you feel so discarded, unworthy, unlovable, and unsafe that you are repeating this with other incapable, damaged people now? And have you had enough of these toxic relationships to turn inwards and heal your love trajectory so that you can be healed in a whole access relationship with other genuinely loving people are possible? I promise you that all of these questions and all of these conclusions, these are the things that I came to when I took my power back and I decided to take things into my own matters, into my heart and my hands to heal this. And using those experiences of relationships and continued abandonment by being thrown under the bus and brutally, cruelly, repeatedly discarded, they impacted me so much that I would have died had I not decided to heal. My name is Sara Ann Brown, and this is Narcissistic Abuse 101.